Great, everybody. Sorry, you lost me, and then you lost Selena. I guess the technology's just been playing up, but I'm pretty certain that Selena's going to be with us in a very, very brief moment. Um, just before you lost me, I was just talking about the four myths that tend to hold people back from moving their careers forward. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just quickly just continue, and as soon as Selena comes in, she'll hopefully she'll move forward. Let's bring that down. By the way, can I just confirm if you can hear me, just type in yes in the chat box just to make sure that you can hear me loud and clear. I want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself because sometimes that can happen. So if you can hear me, just type yes in the chat box and we can continue. All right, Selena's just coming in, thankfully. Hi, Selena.
Hello, I'm back.
Yeah, technology's playing up. Yeah, I'll just hand it back to you.
Fantastic. Right, sorry everyone. We are back. As I said, the technical elements keep trying to stop us. I think that's probably because there's something going to come out really good from tonight. And
Oh gosh, I have a strange feeling this might be from my end, and I don't know what it is or why it's playing up. Okay, brilliant. So,
so, just to go over, and I think a few new people joining us as well. So, hey Lydia and hey Natalie, thank you very much for joining us. And we've got just over half an hour left on this. We will try to make it as fantastic as possible so that you do get some more value. Some of the key areas you were saying that people stumble on, really. You know, we have fantastic people that are so skilled, so great, so wonderful, but somehow it's not working and there's a whole mismatch. I know we've got two, but there seems to be a mismatch, doesn't there, between, you know, people going, learning, doing things, but as you said, it seems like there's a mindset issue or there's a greater issue. So how can people really grow their careers? How can we overcome all these issues? And
hmm.
what would you say? How do you accelerate your career? How do you grow it?
I think the first thing is people need to understand, and this is a key thing. We need to understand that you need to see yourself as a commodity, right? As a brand, as a product, and you're taking this product to the marketplace. So, if you can see yourself that way, right, you would understand that primarily the fact that you're good at something is not good enough. You need to have a strategy to win in the marketplace. The same way a company is going to the marketplace, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to have an objective to achieve with this product.
Okay.
So you've got to be able to
So
define
it's
yourself.
about having the plan, the overall strategy, is it?
So it's about first of all defining yourself as a product and really pack. And so the first thing is define the product, and you now obviously the more brilliant the product, the easier it's going to be to sell it. That's the crucial thing. The more brilliant the product, the easier it's going to be to sell it. So that's where things like skills development come in. Getting those qualifications are useful. I'm not knocking them, but I'm just saying that's just one of four. That's one of four components. And that and this is what I'm sharing with in business. You see, when I was building my career, when I started building my career, I began to build a business by the side, and I was struggling in the business for about 18 months until I finally figured out how to market. And it's this same strategy that I applied to my career. And I just took the same strategy that I was using in my business to grow my business. I began to apply it in my career, and my career really began to soar. Then I began to teach this same strategies to other people, and it began to work for them. The first thing is this: it's a product. You've got to define the product. Who are you? What are you? What are the skills you bring to the table? What's the difference this skill makes? And then there's the packaging. The packaging. So first of all, there is the product, and then there's the packaging of the product. Packaging important. You heard this phrase before: never judge a book by its cover. Right? We all have. Now, why do we tell people to never judge a book by its cover? Selena, why do you think we tell people not to judge a book by its cover?
You don't know what the content's going to be.
Yeah. Yes, the primary thing is because that's what we do.
Hmm.
That's what we do. It's what we always do. If I see a bright cover with a brilliant title, I'll pick it up and then I'll look at the content. If the packaging is not attractive, I won't even know how good it is because I won't be attracted to it in the first place. So
Very.
packaging is really crucial when it comes to career development. Being good is one thing, yourself so that you is really crucial. Packaging yourself in a way that when people see you, when people come across you, they want to know more is essential. And there's a few things we can do there, and I'll expand on those, if we do have a little bit of time. So packaging is crucial. How do you package yourself? That commodity that is you. How do you package yourself so
Okay.
that key players notice you and say,
Right. So
you know
that
what?
sounds interesting so far. So
I want to know a little more about you. This is what you want to do. Then the second thing is positioning. And it's really interesting. I mean, I'm Christian, and there's one scripture that I really like, and I do, and where it says, "You don't like under it doesn't matter how good you are. If the people who need to know do not know you when they are making decisions, they would not reckon with you. It's just the way it is. You could be the most brilliant person in your team, but if the key players don't know you, the key decision makers don't know you, and they don't know what you bring to the table. Now, what do I mean by don't know you? I mean they may know your name because you're in the team, but if they're not aware of what you bring to the table and the value that it can add, you would be upset. Other people get opportunities you're better than them. However, the decision makers don't know. You know why? Because you haven't positioned yourself so that you're visible. Visibility is crucial when it comes to career development. If you're not in the place where the key players are, then they won't know. And you can't blame them. And so positioning is crucial. How do you position yourself for career acceleration? How do you make yourself visible? You've got to ask these questions. For example, are you on LinkedIn? If you're not on LinkedIn, shame on you. I mean, and I'm going to make a prediction right now. Um, 18 months from now, actually 12 months from now, most roles will be filled via LinkedIn. Most recruitment agents wouldn't even bother putting jobs on places like Total Job and things like that. Headhunting is going to be the order of the day. People are going to be contacted via LinkedIn and they will be persuaded to go for roles by recruitment consultants. That is what is going to happen. That is a prediction that I'm making right now, and I will say, watch this space. You will see it happen. Okay. Now the other thing is promotion.
okay,
Now,
can you just go over what you
if
just
you
said? Got a bit of loss in that little moment. So yeah, just go over what you've just said, please, Laura.
12 months from now, most roles are going to be filled with recruitment consultants scouring LinkedIn looking for the ideal candidate. And if you're not strategically positioned on LinkedIn, right, you will be missing out on so many opportunities. You will. That is so. So if a person's not on LinkedIn, you're not really ready for the game. You're just not. It's just the way it is. And then with packaging, I'll just talk about your CV or your resume, and I'll talk about have time. Promotion, being able to really sell yourself, but not just being able, but actually promoting yourself, bragging without coming across as obnoxious. I'm sure some of us who are listening, we know people who are in the workplace who, in the meetings, they have a way of just they're not smarter than everybody else at the table, but they have a way of selling themselves without coming across as obnoxious and arrogant and so full of themselves. Now, there is a thin line between bragging and just showing off. But if you're not bragging without coming across as obnoxious, if you're not selling yourself, if you're not promoting yourself, if you're not putting yourself forward tactically, you will be missing out. And knowing how to do this is crucial in the marketplace. Every attention to promote. Now, a lot of people, say, you know what? I remembered, and I'll just share this with us. I remembered someone who I was coaching with, and she was very, very frustrated. And what was her frustration? Now, this was her frustration. She left her former company to work with this new company, and the reason why she left was, as far as what she said was, in her previous company, right? The reason why she left was she didn't think that she needed to go up to senior managers and keep on selling herself, and she felt like her speak for itself. Listen, my work should speak for itself. Why do I need to still have to do all of that? And I said, well, the key thing is you've said it yourself. Good work speaks for itself. It doesn't necessarily speak for the person who did it. See, that's the truth. Good work speaks for itself. It may not speak for you. And so you have a manager who takes your work into a meeting, and then they're talking about what they did, which in a sense they did because you're in their team. All right? And so they now take the glory for the work you've done. Does that happen? I'm sure for those of us who are listening here on the webinar, it's happened from some of us. It happens all the time. You know why? Because we haven't learned to sell ourselves. Someone else is taking the glory for the ability to promote and to sell yourself strategically is really crucial if you're looking to grow your career. I mean, so for example, if you let me just imagine a scenario where you get off a train at your station, workstation, and your head of department gets off the train at the same time, and both of you are walking to the office. What conversation are you going to have with them? Or would you maybe just step back so that you won't have to walk with them and walk behind them, or maybe walk a little faster because you're not sure what you're going to say, and so you just avoid them completely? Because oh, what am I going to say with the big boss? So I might as well just give him some space. Now that would have been an opportunity and be able to position yourself in their mind and promote yourself so that when the opportunities come, they'll think of you. Most people don't do that. You know why they don't do it? Now, when you see people who seem to just be very good at this, the truth is this: they have practiced and prepared for that moment. They have played around with how do I speak to the boss so I can let them know I'm really good without letting them think I'm an arrogant, whatever. And they thought about it, they practiced it, and they perfected it. And because they've perfected the art of selling themselves, they get the opportunities when they show up. Other people in their team who may be as good as them and even better than them don't get those opportunities. And so they all come together. And when you develop the ability to package and to position and to promote yourself and aligning that with being strategic about where you're going with your career, things start happening a lot quicker.
Okay, so how do you go about being strategic? You've mentioned that a few times to us, but
Okay.
how do we get a strategy?
Okay, brilliant. I'll just highlight a few things that we can do. Okay, so let's say over the next few months, what are some of the things we can do? First of all, and this is some of this is really obvious, but obvious does not mean people do it. Now, when I sit down with people, I ask them this question: 5 years, and I've been asking this question of people now for over 10 years, and 95% of the time, I get weird responses like only God knows, or successful, or very rich, or wow, that's a long time. A lot of people don't have a clear sense of destiny. Now, when I say
Right.
destiny, I don't mean some airy fairy thing. Destiny, I simply mean destination, where you're gonna be. Okay, so let's just rip off all that. I mean, airy fairy stuff. And when I say destiny, I simply mean where you're gonna be 5 years from. 5 years from now, you're gonna be right now. Where are you gonna be? Now, if you go to a person who is in year 8 or year 7, it's year 7, right? Yeah, year 7. Go to a person who's in year 7 and say to them, "We're going to be 5 years from now." They will say to you, "I'll be writing my GCSEs."
Right.
Right? They know where they're going to be. Okay. But when you ask an adult, "Where are you going to be 5 years from now?" they start stuttering. Okay. So first of all, there is no sense, a clear career destination. You can't hit a target if you don't have one. Okay, and that really is the first thing: is define where you're going. It's the first step. Now, when we are young, right, we have systems that define where we're going for
Right.
us. So where you're going to write SAT, you're going to do your GCSEs. We know when you're going to do your A levels. All that's programmed. But as soon as we leave school, we no longer are in that sort of program situation. So many people do not have their own programs because they don't have their own goals.
Okay. Do you
Okay.
think this is particularly true when people have worked in a service industry or career professions themselves. They
Hmm.
spend a lot of their time. So I know we've got quite a few career professionals here that they advise others,
Hmm.
but somehow their own career development gets a little bit lost. I know when I had a plan, but it somehow got lost, and I spent a lot of the time taking that advice myself or
And
not
that
knowing about it.
that happens for a lot of people, and it's well, I think that's another thing for those of us who are in the people development space, which is another thing. And if there's anybody else who here who's in the people development space, I'll just share something with us in a in a brief moment. However, it's one of these things where we say people who build websites for other people tend to have really ugly websites because they're so busy helping other people they neglect themselves. You
Mm,
know, and that's something we need to be very careful about if you're in the people development space. That you're the people that you don't help, you know, and sometimes that does happen. But the second thing is, yes, you need to have an action plan. So having a destination is crucial. Then what I call a failure-proof action plan, and hopefully we'll have some time. I will share with you a simple strategy that I discovered to develop a failure-proof action plan. A failure-proof action plan simply is exactly what I call it. It's an action plan that will not fail.
right.
Okay, you need to have that sort of action plan, and then the next thing is you then want to identify key players. Who are the key street and build relationships with them. It's just simple things. Again, I'm Christian, and there's a statement by a gentleman named Solomon, and it's something goes along the line that whoever walks with wise people will be wise. Who you hang out with is going to determine where you're going to be. Okay, so if you're hanging out with people who are on your level, then that means you're looking to stay there. Now, you're going to hang out with people who are where you want to go and people who want to go where you want to go and people who want to be where you are. I'll say that again. Okay, you want to hang out with, build strategic relationships with people who are going where you want to go, people
Yeah.
who are where you want to go, and where you are strategically, okay, intentionally, and that's the thing. Who are the who are the people who are the people that you're relating with at the moment, as far as your career is concerned? Do you have who are the people who are where you want to be that you're relating with? How are you relating with them? What sort of relationship do you have with them? How much are you investing in these relationships? How often do you go out for lunch with them? Than people who are going where you're going. And that's cool because you can encourage each other, and that's absolutely brilliant. This is not theory. This is why, because when I discover something exciting, I'll share it with you. You discover something
So I'm
exciting, you share
really
it with me.
resonating with.
You know, and that's really the other thing people want to. This is just something that I do know is when you help other people, it always comes back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that there's that thing of you helping other people as well, because if you want other people to invest in you, you've got to invest in others as well. And that's just the way it is. It's a relationship law. Okay. Now then, branding and packaging yourself is really crucial. Now, what do I mean by packaging? Okay. How do you want to be perceived? And then doing things intentionally to be seen that way. Do you want to be seen as brilliant? Do you want to be seen as the person who always gets things done? Do you want to be who never lets people be seen? Now you want to define who you want to be and then begin to behave that way. Now, another thing which is crucial in packaging is, and I call these develop bragging statements. Now, what do I mean by develop bragging statements? Earlier on, I said if you happen to be walking from the station and the head of your department, right, or the director of your particular part of the business is walking from the station and you happen to be walking together, or maybe you're in the lift with them, what conversation would you have with them? My advice is this: you want to develop them where you can yourself, they can notice you, so that when the opportunity shows up, it just flows seamlessly like you weren't even thinking about it. Now, this is something I learned in business and I began to apply it in my career. I knew that I would always bump into my manager. I'll always bump into my manager's manager, my manager's manager's manager. Why? Because it just tends to happen. And I wanted to make sure that when we talk, I could talk at their level. I could say things that's going to get their attention. And I can be able to say things like, hey, you know what? I don't know if you're aware of this, but actually, I do have some knowledge of this. Why don't we get together and talk about it over lunch? And usually they'll say, sure. Now, I offer to sit down with them for lunch. I have lunch with them. So all of a sudden, I'm bringing down barriers. And I spend time asking, I share
That's
the
bringing a
knowledge that I
real
have.
sense of proactivity in there as well. It's amazing.
And the crucial thing is what it does,
Yeah,
it positions you in their minds.
yeah,
So at the end of the day, when opportunities show up, they think of you. It doesn't mean other people can't do it, but they think of you because you've positioned yourself, right? And so, but the reason that now, but you need to learn how to sell yourself. You need to learn how to, to say the right things. If you don't,
mm.
what will happen is you say, I need to hang
But
out with,
then you are that go-to person, yeah.
and then when you find yourself, you think, what do I say now? What do I say? Oh, I'm going to look stupid. Oh, I don't know what to say. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have done. You have prepared you for the opportunity. When it shows up, you just flow into it. You see, and that's what when you see people whose careers are accelerating, people who seem to always know what to say, people who we say have the gift of the gab, which is really not true. They've mastered the ability to sell themselves without coming across as salesy. Okay, and that's one key thing you need to do. Now, another thing is which is crucial is upgrading your CV. Now, I'll say this right now. Many of us do not really appreciate or understand the power of a CV. A CV between making £20,000 a year and making £80,000 a year. The same person. Now, what do we mean? Your CV is like a salesman. Now, I've worked in sales and I understand the difference between a good salesman and a poor salesman. So let's say you have two people who work for your sales organization.
Mm.
Okay, both of them work 8 hours, and maybe within 8 hours they can make I don't know 8 sales calls, so one call an hour. Now, one of them for every four they make one of them for every 16 calls they make one sale. Okay? So one for every four they make two, one for every 16 they make one. So one of them in 2 days they make 8 sales. The other one in 2 days he makes one sale. So let's say each sale is worth £100. One person makes £800 in 2 days. One person makes £100 in 2 days. Even though they work the same number of hours, one person makes you 8 times more than the other person. Your CV is just like a salesperson. Same person. Now, you have a brilliant, so let's just say, Selena, there's you and there's the two of us. You
Yeah,
and I are both, we have about similar level of experience and expertise.
yeah.
Neither one of us is really better than the other. But
Mm.
you have a well put together CV that sells you. It presents the best Selena, and it's just powerful. It gets attention. Mine, on the other hand, is like most people's CVs. Very good communicator, enthusiastic, and all those other funny things that I used to have on my old CV. Okay, now both of us apply for 20 roles. Okay, and 10 interviews, I get one. And is it because you're 10 times better than me? No. It's simply because your CV is 10 times more effective than mine. And so I say to people, invest in developing a powerful CV. Get help with the CV. Don't just look at something you found online. Don't download some template from the internet. Everybody else is downloading that template. I mean, I work with recruitment consultants, and one of the things I've trained recruitment consultants all the time, and one of the things the recruitment consultants say is most CVs all look the same. They're all boring. There's
Ooh,
an average of 80. So, consultant is going to have to sift through 80 CVs. My question is your CV going to stand out from the others, or is it just going to be one of those that ends up in the bin because it's just full of sameness? It's no different from the other CV. So, upgrading your CV is really crucial. I can't really go into detail right now because we don't have a lot of time, but um, the, if it is it's going to cost you time and money to invest in a brilliant CV, do it. It makes a big difference. I remember back in the day when I was applying for jobs, and I just kept getting the "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and and it began to impact on my self confidence. and to think maybe because I thought I was. I mean, when you've gotten about 40 rejection letters within about a month, you really begin to think there's something wrong with you, right? You begin to think maybe you have really overestimated how good you really are.
mm,
That begins to happen because every rejection letter is a statement to you. you know. So however, I went to a job fair and I remembered walking past one particular kiosk and someone was speaking to someone there and she says, I've been applying for so many positions and I know I never even get past the CV stage. I thought, wow, asking that question. So let me just listen to what they're going to say. And the
mm,
person there said something profound and it stayed with me. She said, you know what? A lot of people just have a CV that really is just quite general and it's not specific. What you need to do is you need to make sure that that CV sells you for what it is you're going for. And you've got to make sure it is really targeted and the language is powerful and it stands out. I thought, wow, I've not been doing that. And I went to invest in working on my CV. At the time, I just paid someone else to do it for me with them. I questions and they packaged the CV for me. CV is a sales. The CV is not just a record of what you've done in the past. Your CV is a sales document for your next position. I'll say that again. Your CV is not just a record of your work history. Your CV is a document that you want to use to sell yourself, to sell you for that next position. And so you want to package it and target it for where you're going. Okay, that's really crucial. And then LinkedIn, I've talked about LinkedIn. Um, don't just be on LinkedIn, be strategic on LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile. Now, let me tell you what recruitment can more and more these days. Anybody here who works in recruitment, you would probably be aware that this is what's happening. Recruitment consultants go to LinkedIn and then they search. They
right.
put in they type in keywords and they search. Why? Because they know that the best people are usually not looking. So this is the truth. The best people are not looking for jobs. So what they do is they go into LinkedIn, they type in keywords, and they see the profiles that come up, and they start to review profiles. When they see a profile that they think, wow, matches what they're looking for, they read the person's profile, they see some of the things the person's been posting on there, they see the recommendations that people have made about this individual, and they think he looks like the ideal
Mm,
person, touch with them. That's what's happening. There's more and more, and that's what's happening more and more now. And they headhunt them. So if you just have your picture on LinkedIn and maybe just one, just put something on there like you do on Facebook, I'm gonna challenge you to be very strategic about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like having a live CV plus online. Okay, so things like getting recommendations and having them on there, things like going onto LinkedIn and actually posting regular things and communicating and engaging on LinkedIn to
right.
see what you're saying. And they're thinking, I like what this person's saying.
Mm,
Let's invite them. Take advantage of it because it's going to be getting more and more and more relevant to people's career advancement over the next few years. And so these are just
okay.
some of the things that you can do strategically to grow your
So,
business. I mean,
what
there's a lot
advice? I
more,
think
but
we've kind of summarised it a little bit already, but what particularly would you say to someone that is feeling quite stuck? They're doing, what can they start to do? What's simple?
I think if they just some of these things I've shared, I think and just first thing is where do you want to be? Define your career destination.
Yeah,
And then an action plan. I said I would share with us, and I will share with us before we leave, how to put together a failure-proof action
yeah,
plan and put
yeah,
together the
that'd be great.
plan, and then just work the plan. And these things I've highlighted are things that you really need to do. And if you can do that, if you can do that, um, it will make a massive difference. You need to develop career growth skills. The
Right.
same way you invested in developing the skills to help you do it well,
Hmm.
you also help you to advance your career and to advance your career quickly. So you need to invest in those skills. I think that is one crucial thing. That's one thing that most of us at the moment do not do.
Yeah, and so the big thing I'm taking away is it's a proactive kind of step. It's about being proactive. It's not just about waiting for things. Okay, so you said so the action plan is one thing as well. So you're saying about rapid improvement, rapid growth, rapid movement.
Yeah. So did you ask a question? I might have missed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I said, you've got a system, haven't you, in place?
Oh,
Some people, get help. How can they, start with this? As I said, so you said they start with their action plan, and then what next?
okay. I think one thing is a program, I will recommend it to everybody who's on here. I'll just share that program with us, and it's called the Setup for Flight Career Acceleration Program. And I put this program together primarily to put together it's a system. It's a system to help people develop the capabilities and position themselves to be able to accelerate your career. So it's a 4 module program, and it's an online home study program, which you basically you work through the program, and the intention of this program is this:
Yeah,
position you strategically for accelerated career growth. And I'll just run through the program quickly, and I'll explain, how you can take advantage of the program tonight, and then I'll go on to share with us what we need to do to, develop a failure-proof action plan. Now, so the first module is actually defining and mapping out your winning career strategy. And so in this one, I actually just help us to be able to develop a strategy, an action plan, and how to map out the plan. And then there's also an audio recording on how to locate, approach, and maximize mentors. Now, how do I find mentors who will help me to area? And a tactic that I've used and I've shared with a lot of my students who've used it, primarily within where you work. How can I find mentors where I work right now? But even beyond that, how can I find mentors using things like LinkedIn? How can I
yeah,
find mentors using LinkedIn who will, because mentors give you speed, period. It's just when people who have traveled the road before you, what they do is they not only show you what's worked for them, they'll also help you avoid the things that slow them down. So okay. Mentors have made a massive difference for me. When I was working in the corporate world, I had a mentor who happened to be my boss as well. Who just I had the thing is this: why do mentors make a difference? Because there are some things that theoretically make sense, but in practice don't work. But if you've never done it, you wouldn't know. But when you speak to a mentor, they chuckle and they say, you know what? I know why that makes sense for you. This is what's likely to happen if you do it that way. Have you thought about doing it this way? And by doing that, they save you from the stress that you would have gone through trying to figure out what makes sense, but actually what doesn't work. Okay, so here I share with us how to maximize mentors for accelerated career speed, and also how to develop and map out your winning career strategy. The second module is I share with us how to design your strengths and bragging profile. What do I mean by that? Um, how do I brag? How do I sell myself? And also success statements. How do I create success statements that I can use to sell myself without coming across as obnoxious? Now this is crucial because this gives you visibility. If you're not selling yourself, if you're not blowing your trumpet, somebody else will. But most of us don't know how to blow. And when we don't when we do blow, we don't blow to tune. So in this module, I'll literally show. I mean, as you work through the module, you'll learn how to design your bragging profile, how to design your strengths profile, and how to design success statements so you can sell yourself without coming across as obnoxious and arrogant. But you can also get attention of key players.
yeah,
And then there's also an audio here where I share with us how to identify and get recognized and endorsed by key players in your industry. How do I get recognized by key players? How do I get them to endorse me when I'm not there? And so that particular audio, in addition to the videos and the worksheets, so there's videos, there's worksheets, and you literally use those worksheets and create those success statements. And then there's the audio as well. Then module 3 is a really crucial one, and that's the CV slash resume makeover. Because we've had quite a number of people since I created this program earlier this year. We've had quite a number of people here in the UK, but also across the Atlantic, and over there they use the terminology resume rather than CV. But it ultimately it's in this particular module. By the time you are through with this module, it's step by step. I take you through the different elements of the CV. I mean, a key thing is this: I train recruiters what to look for in a CV. I also and I've been training recruiters what to look for in a CV since 2005. Know what and so in this module, I literally show you in each element of the CV what to put into it. I use examples, and there's also a template that you can use. And literally, as you work through this, it's literally making over your CV to move it from the same old that literally blends in, and you will create a CV that sells you well and stands out from the crowd, gets you more interview invites than you could possibly handle. Okay, so that's the third module, and it's again you watch the videos where I take you through it, and then you literally just work with the template and you build a standout CV that gets you more interviews than you can handle. And then the fourth module, the final module, setting up for success. And I literally share with us, some tactics you can use. So first of all, how to build a profile on LinkedIn that stands out, how to get endorsed on LinkedIn, but also how to tactically use the power of LinkedIn to grow your influence and advance your career. I really just break that all down in the fourth module. Now, I created this program earlier this year, and I've only done a soft launch. I actually haven't done a big public launch, and we've had just under 100 people take the program. And since we have, the feedback has been absolutely phenomenal. I had one particular student who took the course, and she came back and says, "D, I want to promote this because I know that it works. It's worked for me. I mean, I've been struggling for so long in my career, but since I've done this, I mean, and she, I mean, no, I mean, not only was her CV opening doors for her, but she actually did get headhunted on LinkedIn. Because she went and she actually she said I've been on LinkedIn for a couple of years. I hadn't done anything, but when I got on the program, I went and I just tweaked my LinkedIn profile based on what you shared, and I did all that, and then I actually did get headhunted. And even though she didn't take the job, but actually she was approached. And that's why her belief level just went up. And that's just one of so many people who've taken the program. Now, the program is £300, which is for the value that you're getting, considering how many hours go into that. I mean, if you're going to work with me, my consultation fees are £250 an hour. Worth it. I'll say that right now. That every second is worth it. And so when you consider how much time went into this, time-wise, it's worth thousands of pounds. But the program itself is £300. But Selena, I know that you and I did agree that we're going to do a special for the people who attend the webinar tonight.
Yes.
So I'm doing what I call a ridiculous. You'd be nuts not to take advantage of this offer. And so what we're doing is Selena, is for your guests here tonight, advantage flight four module career acceleration program for £100 only. So for 100 quid, they can get the whole program. And the way it works is you make the payment, you get your login details. It's all online, nothing sent out in the post. You can do it at your own pace. You literally just work through the program module by module, step by step. It comes with a 30-day money back guarantee, which means you can go through the program, and if at the end of the day, if you think it's not worth your while, you just ask for your money back, and I'll give it back to you because at the end of the day, yes, I'm in business, I'm an entrepreneur, but my core is helping people, and if this program doesn't help you, then I really don't need your money. That's the truth. But I'm more so basically, you all you do is you get the program, and as long as you just literally follow it step by step, and you begin to take action, I promise you, it will make a massive difference. It just would. That I know that because it's worked for hundreds of my clients over the years, and it's also worked for so many people who've gotten the program,
Okay,
and
if
it's
you
worked for
just
me.
throw in as well, just let us know again, because I think we had a little bit of a loss there. I know we're
Mhm.
at the end of our time, but just say how much again is the special offer, the
Okay.
fantastic deal you're giving to people.
For those of us who take advantage here tonight, and we can actually take advantage of the program for 100. So you get £200 off. And
A
if you
hundred
look
pounds.
under Poppins on your screen, so those of us who are watching, you can see it there. Super special elite offer of £200 off on the Set Up for Flight 5 module career success program. It's a home study program available online. For those of us who are on here tonight, you can get £200 off the price. I'm saying even at £300, it's a steal. The CV element alone is will I promise you, if you need the module alone, the CV out there, I would say within a year your income will grow by at least £20,000 because
Right.
it has the
And I'm sure,
capability of
yeah,
helping you get a
that's
job
not a
that
bad
pays
thing
you
at all,
twenty
is it?
thousand pounds a year.
Income to grow by 20,000.
So I don't know if there's any questions, and if there's just go ahead and so just click on the link. It's on under Poppins, I believe. I hope you can see it. If you can't see it, let me know. Super special elite offer of £200 off. Just click the get started button. It takes you to PayPal. You can make that purchase via PayPal. As soon as you do, you'll get the login details sent to you, and then you can go ahead and log into the program. There's a start get
Yeah, and also, I
and
think we wanted to as well. So for the first 5 people that do sign up, they also get me as well, kind of holding their hands and helping them in the process. So they get a strategy session with me as well. So I'm throwing that in. So not only are you getting the program for £100, but you're also getting me with that as well. Not literally all the time, but you're getting me to help you. So, I've just thought I'd throw that in. I've just thought of that now. So, yeah, I'm going to do that little bit extra as well. So we can arrange that for you. You get me to help you too.
awesome, Selena, and you're extremely generous. Okay,
No.
that I think it's value to people, and I'm really hoping people get so much value out of the session. Now, I did say earlier on. By the way, if you do have any questions, if you can't see, can you just let me know if you can see the link to get the order? If you can see it, just let me know by typing. Just say yes, we can. Yes, I can see it. So that would help. That's the challenge with webinars is you don't know if people actually can see what's going on. So
We've
if you
been
can just
talking
type
to ourselves for an hour.
exactly, just say yes, I can see it.
I'm not getting
That
any
would
yeses,
really
so
help.
can anyone see?
Okay, so
So,
I know it's delayed by about 50 seconds, so hopefully we'll get that feedback soon.
yeah.
Um, so earlier on that I'll share do to be able to create a failure-proof action plan. So now I'm going to share with you. This is something that I did, and I do it every time I want to do something new. When I'm looking to put together an action plan, and I'm going to share it with you right now. This is a big game changer. You
First,
do this
go for
alone, and I
it.
promise you that you would really position yourself for accelerated career growth. So, what is it? Find, first of all, know where you want to be and locate 5 people who are already where you want to be. Locate 5 people who are already where you want to be. Okay? And what you want to do is get in touch with all 5 of them. I don't care how far away they live from you. And basically this is how to do. Says DJ, I work in this department if they work in your company. If not, say, well, my name is DJ. I found you via this particular place and I work in this particular organization. I'm aspiring to be exactly where you are doing exactly what you're doing. And I really, I mean, I see where you are, and I'm really excited about what you're doing, and I'd love to be doing the same thing too. If it wouldn't be a big hassle, I would love to just sit down for you for about 30 minutes over lunch, and I will pay just to ask a few questions and pick your brain and just learn a little bit about how you got to where you are, and maybe I can pick up a few things that could help me. Okay. Now, for every 2 people you ask, one tell you right. So if you ask 5, you're going to get about 2 or 3 yeses. So what do? You take them for lunch, and you ask certain questions. And I'm going to tell you the questions that I ask.
Very
Questions, obvious ones like, how did you get here? What was the journey like?
right.
But a crucial question, which I believe is a game changer, is you tell them where you are, tell them what your story is, and ask them if you were in my shoes and you were starting today, how would you go about it? If you were in my shoes today, How would you go about it? And then pay attention to what they say and probe for clarity. Do not leave there without having clarity about anything that you ask them. Now, what you will see is by the time you ask three people, you will probably get three slightly different approaches, but some things will be consistent from all three. And what you do is from all the information you gather, put together a game plan. When you put together that game plan, go and show it to each of them. And what you'll identify also is that one or maybe two of them would particularly your career, right? And when you've identified that, invest in that relationship. Now, what do I mean by investing in that relationship? Buy them a big thank you present. That's what I mean by investing. Buy them a big thank you present and then begin to nurture that relationship, which means you let them know how you're getting on and you keep asking them questions and keep on investing in that relationship. So find out when their birthdays, if they've got a family, find out the birthday of their kids and their partner or whatever, and make sure you keep on in relationship and then from the expertise and knowledge and experience. And I promise you, you're on the way. Now, what I'm sharing with you is exactly what I've done. Okay, and it's something that I teach. Now, what I just shared with you is not something I share in public. I share it with people who are close to me. Okay,
Oh,
because it's a
thank
very
you.
personal kind of thing. It's a very personal kind of thing. It's not something I'd put on online. If you do this, I promise you, people will open up to you, and you will learn a lot more than you can learn in any book. Right? It would really set you up for flight. All right, so that's the bonus. Whether you get the program or not, that is a bonus. But go ahead and get the program. It really is still at 100 quid on there. I created it. I'm saying that because it's fact, and it will help you. You will be better off by getting it than not getting it. That much I will say most definitely. But I hope that you've got great value from here. Let me just see. All right, brilliant. Philippa says yes, she can. So thanks for sharing that. So it is visible. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. So go ahead and take advantage. If you do have any questions, I think we'll just wait for a few more minutes just in case anybody has questions, or if you have any comments, please feel free to type in your comments. And for those of us who maybe work as coaches and trainers, I'll just share some while because I know that Selena did say there's a couple people in the room who do work in that space, and I'll share something with us in a moment. Great. So any final questions? Any final just give it a moment because I know that there is a short. So I don't know, Selena, if there's anything you wanted to add before we ended the webinar.
Just before we finish, I'm not going to ask many questions. I know we are on our end, and just so great for hanging on to this end. But just in summary, what would you say? Maybe the top three things, just to summarise and really drive home.
I think the first thing is take responsibility for your career. That's the thing. Um, Look in the mirror. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to you. Take responsibility and invest in developing skills to grow your career. One. Number two, invest in building relationships that are going to help you move your career forward.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you're for. And I guess the fourth thing is take advantage of the setup for flight career acceleration program. I just had to throw that in, didn't I? But however, sincerely, it really would make a big difference for you. And if those of you who are coaches, speakers, authors, trainers, I will quickly share a link with you that would help you if I can find it. Just one moment. So this is an audio that I created. It's called Targeting and Packaging for Maximum Profits. Um, so I'll just send you the link and you can go ahead and get that audio. It's free. There's a few other audios at the back of that that you can get as well. I'll encourage you to just go ahead. I know, Selena, you've got it. So I'll just share that here as well for those of us who are here, who are coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers. Just because um, I'll just put the link in. Download now. And I'll just put I'll put the headline for coaches. Okay. Please let me know if you can see it because I cannot see it.
Ah, here we go. Yep. Button link, product targeting. Yes, we have it there. I can see it.
Brilliant. So you can just go ahead and click on that link. Um,
That's
I hope
brilliant.
it's there
Yeah,
because I can't see it.
I can see it.
But as long as you can see it, that's brilliant.
No, oh, I can see it. So I'll definitely, I can send it to people uh,
Okay, great.
now, so that's not any problem. I'll send that, and we'll be sending the link, not the link, the replay as well. So
Yeah,
that's perfect.
awesome. Okay,
Right.
great. Thanks, everyone. I'm really excited. Hope we got great value. And for those of us who've gotten the program, I'd like to say congratulations. And I'm sure it's going to make a big difference. I'm also going to say thank you for listening and staying all the way
Yeah.
through. And for them, thank you for taking advantage of the program and becoming a client. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to being a part of your success story. And thank you very much for spending time with us. We do appreciate it. Thanks, Selena, for having me. I do appreciate, and I look forward to celebrating your success stories as well.
Brilliant. Thank you everyone for staying till the end and really bearing with us with the gremlins. So appreciative. And if I know we've gone slightly over, but thank you very much for giving us your evening and this hour. And yeah, just look forward to seeing you again. And thank you so much. All right. Goodbye and good night. And thank you, DJ, as well.
Cheers.
Goodbye.